A newly local author has written his 8th book, and he's joining us today to tell us more about it. So John, I say newly local because you guys have just moved to the area a few years ago, but you love it here. So tell me a little bit about how this area has inspired now these books.
Well, my wife and I and our 3 kids moved down from Boston, Mass. About 2.5 years ago, and I've been writing for a little over 2 decades. And the area, when we came here, the area and the people and the history was just so rich. And I've noticed that not many people wrote about this area or had books take place in this area. And I just thought it's just primed to have a story written about it.
Yeah.
And the characters I've met and the people, the whole place was very inspiring. So I almost feel like the last 2 books I've written that take place in Southern Virginia, they wrote themselves almost.
Yeah, that's nice. So we have 2 of these books here. Can you tell us more about this series?
Sure. This is a traditional murder mystery series. It follows a PI named Brandon Hall who lives out in Nathalie, Virginia. And he's unlike other private investigating series where the protagonist is an ex-cop. He's a cattle farmer, and he does this on the side. He's ex-military, so he has a little bit of that background, but he's just mostly encountering cases on the side that he'll do for insurance fraud, cattle, trampling over someone else's property
Very Virginia
damage.
things.
Yeah, but you have DC, which is close by, so it allows me to tap into those macro global storylines where he can kind of stumble into a bigger problem than he's used to, which is what I did in the first book and the second book.
So what was a little bit of the storyline of the first one, just the main idea?
Sure. A senator's son dies in a NASCAR race at a local racetrack, and he hires Brandon to investigate because he doesn't think it was a quote-unquote accident. And it ties in a lot of local things. The character has personal problems with family and other things that they're struggling with. They lost their 3-year-old son, and he ends up stumbling into something more of a globalist that's funding a lot of radical groups in the United States. And it ends up tying in the Charlottesville riots that happened between the Klan and Antifa, and it ties all into the murder of the senator's son. So a little country bumpkin from Halifax County, Virginia, ends up helping to solve a bigger crisis.
Definitely. And then the second book is about human trafficking, and you said you really enjoy, the story of good versus evil, and that's really what the whole main picture of the series is.
Yes. And I had to do a lot of research for that, and it was probably the most difficult book I've written because the storylines and the stuff I've researched was so heavy.
Yeah.
Because this isn't made up. It's not like Star Wars in a galaxy far, far away. There's something that never happened, but it's stuff that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I realized human trafficking is the 3rd worst criminal industry in the world behind arms and drugs.
Wow.
And it's happening in the United States as well. So the scenario is fictional, but the storyline, unfortunately, is real. So it's actually a really tough book to write. But again, he stumbles on this case that a friend has a daughter that's abducted.
Oh, wow.
And he has to track her down and find out what's going on. And at the end, rescue her.
Yeah, sounds like an awesome series, and there's a 3rd one coming, so people have to stay tuned for that. But if they want to grab these books, they can head to johntheo.com or head to Amazon and purchase them there.